it going? What we're going to talk about now is just do a wee demonstration for you how to cut a corner halving joint. First thing I want to talk about is the tool selection we need for that. As you look from my right to left, what we've got here is we've got a marking knife for marking all your edges. We've got a chisel, the wider one is possible, 25mm. It's always good for taking off and flattening out your edges. Pencil, I'm using a big pencil here with 2B lead in, and also the engineer square, which obviously you use for square. We've got a metric ruler, 300mm steel, and also a marking gauge, one you'll supply with your toolkit. Also, we've got tenon saw here, and we've got the router plane, which you also can call a granny's tooth. Also, we've got the wee shoulder plane, good for leveling out your surfaces, and we'll go through that. Okay. And a bench hook. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the two bits of wood, right? So remember, refer back to the other parts that we made first was the mortise and tenon. We'll always refer back to the face and face edge. So what we've got to make sure is we mark these face and face edge marks, and how we do that is just as simple as the wee and sign with a wee V inside of it, just like that. Okay. Same in this one. Then from there, what I do is we'll do the corner halving. That's the joint we're going to make. Okay. So the first thing we've got to do is mark our shoulder lines and mark the joints up completely. So we've got our face and face edge marks here. So when we're doing marking for the cuts, what I do is make sure we mark where we're going to be cut. So on one side, mark an X, and then when it marries up to the other side, mark an X, and that's where actually the bits you're going to be cutting out. So it's very simple how to measure them up for actually to cut them. Just bring a bit of wood onto here, level it up, and then bring it across nice and level. So it's nice and flush at the back there. Right. Take that away, get your marking knife. Remember, be referencing off of the reference points, both the face and your face edge. Okay, so just make sure you do that. Take the joint here, marking knife, bevel side into the waist, then mark it across. Okay, light marks to start off with, then build them up from there. Then the other side, exact same way, level it up, make sure you're referencing off on your face edge marks. What that does is just make sure that if you're off slightly, you're going to be off slightly both on your face marks. Both our shoulder lines marked, nice and square across there, and good to go. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go on to the marking gauge, but firstly we've got to determine the width of our piece of timber. So we start at the 100 and work out, and it's 20mm in thickness. Okay, so the easy way to do that, instead of finding the middle, which you can do as I previously taught you, well, what we can also do is just go straight onto the rule and mark 10mm. Straight like that. Hopefully you can see that in the video. Lock off. So once it's locked off at 10mm, just double check it. And there. Marking off your face side against your fence side, and then just taking it before you remark and start to mark it down. Start off lightly and build up your score. Exact same other side. Build it down. What you can also do, just to make some a bit simple, take onto that cut mark, just put a wee light pencil mark there so you know where to start and stop. So you can put a wee mark in there with your gauge and just drive it down to that mark and it'll stop. Just like that. So from there, what we can do is back onto that side and mark that wee line down which you did with the pencil there. So what you've did there on that side, you just repeat on the next one. So we can call that A, and we'll call that B. So B A, side A, and B. Okay. So all we do is just repeat. We just did there. Let's go double check that. So it's 10 mil. Pencil line so you can clear the C where you want to mark down to, and you can finish off with your marking knife as we go along. Okay. You do get better quality marking gauges. Furnitures do one which works on a small wee disc, which obviously works better than pine. Again, the tools I've got are sufficient enough to do the job. And the last wee bits to mark off is with your marking knife. Just mark off these wee lines down, start off lightly, then build your pressure up. So get a reasonable cutting. And the same here. So from that, just mark your waist and just double check that you've measured everything up correctly. So that's your waist and that's your waist. What you should have here is that one's going on there. Both your faces are up the way and both your face edges are pointing out of the way. That's correct. Hey folks, what you see here now is we've got the piece of timber into the actual vise, holding it at 45 degrees to the cut. That's so you can actually see down the front top edge and the actual side view of that piece of timber. Okay, we're not actually going to cut straight onto the line, so we're going to come back around 2 mil from that cut edge. So we're going to get the saw onto the piece of timber. Using the tennis saw at 90 degrees, we're actually going to do a draw cut first. Remember, this saw cuts and we actually push it because it's called a push saw. Okay, so we're just going to get that and then we're going to drop back. So all the way down. Cut. Sawing down to this. We're going to stop, we're going to flip the piece of timber round to 45 degrees, opposite direction, and then cut the second part of the cut. So watching for that, as you can see, we're actually cutting well off the line You can see I'm not great at cutting, however, what I've done is not managed to cut any of that line, which means I've tidy it up with the shoulder plane or the granny's tooth. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it out, I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and then I'm going to finish that part. Really, I've got a moon here right in the middle, just like that, and it's at the centre of that cut, so we're going to take that off. You can see it's going to sit hard until it's all the way down, just above that shoulder line. And stop. Right. From that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it onto the line chook, and then we're going to cut this part of the line here, or the actual shoulder line. Now there's two ways to do that. Either we can take a wee chiseling out, how I've previously taught you, or we can just saw off the line and then fix it at a later stage. Okay. So a couple of mils off of the actual shoulder line, all the way down, and a piece of timber comes away. Should just flick off. Okay. Well, what I do from this now is from here, the second one the exact same way, and then what we can do is start to tidy that line up and finish it off. Okay. So first thing we'll talk about is this line here, this shoulder line here. What I do is I'm going to cut that down nice and level. Now, two ways we can do that. We use the shoulder plane, or you can use a chisel to do that. Right, make sure you've got the piece of timber facing away from you, and then take the chisel on, and we're going to chisel the timber edge nice and square. As you can see, I've probably got 2 mil here. What I do is just half that. What we don't want to do is go straight on that line and chisel all the way down, because what will happen is the chisel will go in and start going down at an angle, and you will end up with a face which is not actually square. Let's take half of it, turn it down, and then come back to the second half. And then go back and finish, which is done. Just make sure you're looking down so the chisel doesn't square. And what we're looking for is a nice square shoulder line there, which we have. Very tidying up there to do. A bit more to come off of that. Okay, so next thing you do is we bring the chisel onto that line, and just going to chisel this slightly bit and come round this corner. Okay. And it will naturally fit in here. Trying to avoid chiseling right off of that edge. Trying to keep this nice and flat going across it. Same at this edge here. breaks off so it's nice and flat. So I'm just putting pressure on this chisel here. I'm just letting run right across. And we're looking to try and get that as clean as we can. Well, absolutely perfect. That's what we're looking for, perfection. So another couple of tools we can use to do that. We can get where shoulder point and stuff it just off where we get your edge of the mark. And just do the exact same thing, turn it around the other side. What we're looking for here, folks, is that that's nice and square right across there, and you can see there's a high point right in the middle right here. So what we can do is we can mark with a pencil, and that's the kind of bit we want to take off. As you can see, it's not too bad. Still got a wee high point right in the middle, right about there. It starts just from that edge up. And another tool we can use for doing this is the granny's tooth. And all we do is I'm just going to finish it off just with a pair and chisel, just tighten it up. And check it against a piece of timber. Looking for just not any gaps there at all, like that. So when you push it down, the glue will do its job. You can see we've got a wee problem in there, right at that shoulder, right in here. So it'll just be a build up of material. So another thing we can do is we can take that shoulder plane back and go cut across that shoulder to do that up. Do that job. Perfect. Got a wee toy right here. So what you want to do now is what you've done in the first one is you just repeat in the second one, and then we should marry up together. Okay. So what I do is I'm going to go ahead and just finish that off.